Welcome to Make Things Happen with Diana Pagano. I came from struggle, living life on survival mode, and later found myself living in that same vicious cycle. Life is meant to be so much more than settling. My life changed when I learned the power of your mindset and how it applies to every part of your life. I'm a business leader, speaker, and author. I have made it my life's mission to share all the tools and techniques that changed my life because I know they will for you too. All your hopes and dreams really lie in the how. How are you making things happen? Are you ready to stop dreaming for what could be and turn those dreams into reality? I thought so. Well, get ready to live life on your terms. Hello and welcome to Make Things Happen with Diana Pagano. I am so excited. I'm live here in London and I just finished filming today with some beautiful women that are making things happen in their lives and impacting the world. I'm so honored to have been here and be able to record a couple podcast episodes that are coming your way. And I just wanted to have this little extra clip for you on some of the common things that I've been seeing with other people that are making things happen and the common denominator and the things that they shared about having a vision and knowing up front that they were going to be successful and that they were determined no matter what. And one of the things that is also a very common denominator is that they had fears, they had insecurities, they felt sometimes, they're second guessing themselves. And I just want to encourage you that whatever you're doing, that you don't have to wait until you're not nervous or wait until you're not fearful, that you can make it happen. You can still make that choice to go again. You tried it today, so what? Do it again tomorrow, and you do it again tomorrow and you don't succeed. You have another day. God has given you a new day to put air in your lungs to go again. And so oftentimes people crumble because they don't have a vision. They don't know where they're headed. And they need to feel like everything has to be figured out, but not everything has to be figured out. You can come with fear. You can be nervous and just take that step and keep going, because oftentimes, and even statistics show that when you take that first step, you are likely to take that second one, and then the third one will follow. So knowing that, right, as long as you know up front, like, hey, I'm supposed to feel a little nervous, I'm supposed to feel a little scared, right? It's coming out of your comfort zone and it's only gonna grow you. Trust me, I've been there. And to see these women that I spoke with today on my podcast, on 2 different episodes of Make Things Happen, was amazing to hear their stories and to see that these are confident women that you wouldn't know, still to this day, still struggle sometimes, have challenges. But if there's something tugging at you that you want to do and you're allowing fear to come in, no one can cripple you. No one can make that path not happen for you other than you. You're the one that controls that. You're the one that has the remote control. When you're feeling a certain way and it's providing anxiousness, maybe you're getting anxiety because you're on a scary channel. I want you to imagine that you have a remote control in your hand and you can change the channel to change how you feel. And I look forward to airing 2 amazing episodes coming your way here live in London with 2 amazing women that have empowered the world in so many ways. And they're both gone global with their business and their brand in all facets of life, personally and professionally, and how you are making things happen today. Hello and welcome to Make Things Happen with Diana Pagano. I'm here joined with beautiful Mirela on this episode of Make Things Happen with Diana Pagano. Hello, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to have you.
Hi Diana, welcome to London.
And we're here in London. Yes, came here for a Global Woman. I spoke on her stage and she's got this amazing event that she's put together. Gosh, how many years has it been that you put Global Women together?
Well, next year, 10.
10 years, I thought so. 10
Want
years.
you back.
Yes, thank you.
Celebrate the 10th anniversary.
Yes.
All of us.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So talk to me. You spoke on stage like you always do, but for me, and recently meeting you, I was so inspired by your story because even though we had spoken about me speaking at your event, I didn't really know much about you and know your background, and I started to kind of divulge a little bit further. How did you start Global Woman, and tell me about your journey?
Wow, do you want long story or short story?
I know we can be here all day.
But, I moved to London 12 years ago, 12 years ago.
Okay.
In a student visa. And I had a dream. I thought it's going to be easy, but it was not, But it's good because if we know how hard it's going to be, maybe we never take the risk.
Never do it, exactly.
So I'm glad I didn't because maybe I would think about it. So I'm glad I didn't think about it. And this is exactly what I teach now. If you want to be smart, think about it. If you really want to do it, just be stupid and go for it. And I was that stupid to believe that I'm a dreamer. I'm going to make my dreams come true. Yes, I am making them one by one, but it requires taking hard work.
Yes.
So the first 2-3 years was tough, to be honest. I must say that. I came here as a single mother with my teenager son. He was not happy, of course, because he left the luxury life to live in a studio flat with his mom, with nothing. He was missing family, friends, school. He was, of course.
And you moved here from
Albania.
Albania, that's right. Okay.
So coming from a very tiny, small country to a big city like this, it just feels, where do I start? And yes, I started searching for a job. It was absolutely impossible, even to find an internship. It was, even as a volunteer.
Yeah, it was.
I applied so many.
So what brought you to London, though? What was the reason? What inspired you to say London is where I'm going?
Well, it came a moment when I felt like I want next level, and Albania was not giving me that next level. So I wanted to study, I wanted to grow, I wanted to learn, I wanted to get more education. I was at that point where I was reading lots of books, and like Tony Robbins, and Jack Canfield, and Les Brown, and all these big names.
Yes.
And I started also through the books realizing that these people are real. You can meet them.
Yes.
But where do I meet them? They never come here.
Right. You meet them in the book only.
I felt like I'm going to try. I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
But when you get crazy, you realize that in order for you to move, you have to burn the bridges. And this is what exactly I did. So I put my house in sale and I left it to my ex. I said, do whatever you want. Bye-bye. Okay. I sold my car. I sold a very new business I had just started. I gave up my work as an editor-in-chief of Psychologist magazine. And I had just started my business to publish self-help books. And it was like less than 1 year old. But in the same time, I was teaching at university. I was part of a big panel show, very popular TV show every week. You see my face after 5 days.
No, I know.
So I was on a.
So you had an amazing life.
I had
in Albania.
I had a very
amazing.
I had my my luxury apartment in the best area of Albania.
Okay.
In front of my apartment, I had my office.
Yes.
I was on TV every day. I was running the biggest network for women equality in decision making. I was running training and courses for psychologists, new psychologists of positive psychotherapy. So I was very busy, and I started traveling. So that was a year when I was feeling a kind of little crisis. Maybe it was a middle crisis.
Okay, yeah.
And I started traveling and exploring. You know, when you wake up, I usually say that, then you have a kind of desire to explore.
Right.
Okay, I have a desire to
find something. You wanted something more.
Where do I find it? So you have to move. And I was in the move of just realizing what is my potential, where can I see myself. And I was traveling mainly in Europe. I never had been in US before. And then suddenly I had an opportunity to come to the UK for the first time in 2011. I was invited to speak to Stirling University. At that time, I was teaching a university, and my university suggested my name to go and speak in Scotland. So I got my visa to come because Albanians need a visa to come to the UK. I got a visitor visa to come to visit, to go to Scotland. And I thought, okay, I'm going to see London now because I've never been to London. And I found a friend, an old friend, which I never met her again when I moved here. Okay. I said, I'm coming to London. We would love to meet you. So she came and waited for me at the airport with her husband, some flowers. I was supposed to stay one night. So I traveled from Scotland to London to leave to Albania the day after. And it was like early evening. And she said, what do you want to do? Because we don't have that much time. Tomorrow you're flying back to Albania. So we have a couple of hours. Where do you want to go? I said, show me London Eye. Because that was like, this is all I knew about everything seeing on TV. I said, yeah, of course. Yeah, she drove me from the airport to central London. We parked, we went to London Eye, we did some photos, we got excited, and then we had a dinner, we went back home. When we went back home, because we've been friends during our childhood, we grew up together.
Okay, old friend.
We stayed all night.
All night talking.
All night, talk, and we fall asleep. and I didn't wake up in the morning for the flight.
You missed your flight.
I missed the flight. And I
my
called
goodness.
my mom because she was taking care of my son. I said, I missed the flight. I'm staying a few more days in London. Maybe it was meant to be.
Maybe. Yeah, obviously.
It was weekend, and she said, what do we do? I said, show me the park. London has lots of parks. And we went, she got her little girl and her husband, and we were walking in Regent's Park. And as we're going through the park to find a coffee, we see School of Positive Psychotherapy and Counseling Psychology. And I said, oh my God, that's a sign. You go and find the coffee. I'm going to get in and see if there is a chance for me to come and study here. So this exactly kind of manifested the whole thing.
Yes, right.
And I visualize it now. She said, no, nobody's now here because it's a weekend. You can't go there. Nobody's going to be there. So there are people here. I think it was a kind of event. So I went there. I took some brochures, and then I went and joined them for a coffee. And I already saw myself coming to London. So to keep it short, I go back to Albania. Every morning, I would take my team for coffee morning outside because Albanians, they're all the time drinking coffee outside.
Drinking coffee outside.
The work.
Okay.
And my sister's smoking, and everybody, how was London? I said, it was great because they've seen the pictures in social media. And I said, any news? He said, yes, we have 2 news, 1 good, 1 bad. I said, what is a good one? I'm going back to London. You just came. I said, but the bad news is I'm going there forever.
Forever. I'm moving.
And my sister is looking at me, and as she was smoking, she said, I hate you. I hate you. And she was like,
So
she ran away for a week. She didn't speak with me, and everybody was saying, are you kidding? Because she's saying it's going to London. Do you think it's going tomorrow? And she said, I know my sister. If she wants something, she is going to make it happen. And she was so upset because she had just started working with me. And she said, how can you leave me alone? It was the first time working.
Wow.
Getting out of the house.
Okay.
And she was feeling a little bit of insecure. But it happened for better for her as well because she became so confident. And 9 months later, I saw myself in London with my son. And the rest is...
And your son was a teenager.
Yeah.
So you went to school here.
So I started studying my PhD because I thought that's why I'm here. But Tony Robbins says the reason you think you are here is not the reason you are here.
Not always the reason.
So that's a different story. Maybe we'll talk another time.
Sure.
But here I am now. I'm doing what I do. I travel the world. I live my dream. I have built a life here. I love every single moment, with raining and sunshine and all cold. And
all of it.
Whatever people complain about London, I said, I am not complaining about it. I love it.
You're like, I love it. The good and the ugly.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that really struck to me, Mirela, is when you were on stage is just perseverance, resiliency. And it's interesting. People think, oh, Diana, you're so confident on stage, but I have my own insecurities. You have your own insecurities. We all have a challenge we might have. And when you think a successful woman has everything perfect and that we don't all of a sudden have challenges or that we don't deal with things, we still do. So when you spoke on stage, that's what stuck out. It's like, man, here's a woman that came and sold everything to pursue something, and who knows what was going to happen, but you got through it. And so what I think about is, how did you persevere and have that resilience mindset to get you through where you came from, where you had nothing and you had just your...
You know, I have said this a few times. The happiest years of my life have been the first 3 years in this country.
Really?
When I had nothing. Because when you don't know yet how your life is looking like, you're so excited because you're just expecting what is going to happen.
Right.
Because I knew, I never had a doubt that was temporary. I was just like, it felt like this is a military training for something amazing to come. And I was just so curious how it's going to be. I knew it was, I never doubted a second. I was not sad. I was not upset. I was not feeling kind of, how do I say, I'm just feeling mercy for myself.
Right.
Many people were feeling like, how crazy is she? I mean, look at her. Of course, I didn't have money to do my hair or to dress up fancy or to do things that I wanted to do. I mean, honestly, yeah, things that I wanted to do, I would find a way. The reason I came here was to give myself a chance to expand mentally. And London gave me all that opportunity. How can you be sad when you eat once a day? Who cares?
Right.
But you have food of all kind of things. You have the opportunity to meet amazing people, to go to the events, and to be exposed with things that you would never dream if you stay in Albania by the beach. Do you think you are happy just sitting there and doing nothing?
Yeah, right.
The happiest place for me was like meeting hundreds of people that I would never dream to meet in Albania, and learning new things, and exploring new opportunities, and giving myself a second chance. I was like a new baby.
Yeah.
I was just born, and I was grateful every single day that universe gave me a second life. It was a complete second life, because my life in Albania with my life now has nothing to do with
Well, you were totally different lives. That's amazing. And you did it as a single mother. I mean, you came here with your child.
Yeah, I feel sorry for my son, though. Now he understands, but at that time it was hard.
It was hard.
Yeah, but
So
for me, I was happy.
You were happy, yeah. And now looking back, any regrets?
No, honestly, I never regret for anything.
Good.
You know why? Because I forgive myself. And I know even if there are things that maybe I could do better, and always is the case, to be honest. Because if I feel sorry, or if I feel mercy, or if I feel bad or guilty, it's going to stop me. It's going to,
Right.
I don't want
Doesn't
to
serve
have
you.
this relationship with myself
Of course.
that way anymore.
And even the things that we're not proud of, that maybe we've been a part of, or that we made a decision, it's there for a reason, to grow,
Yes,
to
of
learn.
course.
What's the lessons that we're picking up on that? So talk to me about your journey with, I know you mentioned on your website, I noticed that part of what you share is that you were training women that were affected by domestic violence. How did you get into that work?
Well, I started voluntary work at
Okay.
a charity, because for me it was like volunteering for me was a big thing always. And at that time I thought, if I find my mission, if I serve with my knowledge, with whatever
Of course.
I can do to support women, that's it. I would be happy. But you never know what's planned, planned for you. So that was the beginning of something.
That was when you started supporting women in that arena.
Yes.
Interesting. So I do a charity every year during the holidays. It's called Purse Full of Hope. So I share my story. Once upon a time, I was married really right out of high school, really young, had my son at 18, and then my daughter for my first marriage. But I went through that abusive relationship. So I have this charity event that I do. It's Purse Full of Hope, to help women that are leaving their abusive partner and going to shelters, sometimes most of the time with children. And they have no other avenue to go to. They go to shelters. So it's really dear to my heart. So I did not know that about you, and that you helped women in that arena. So that's when it started. Your journey of supporting women started there.
Well, I've been, since I was in my 20s, I always was involved with charities in Albania. Always. I created my own NGO. I was always involved with women, anything to do with domestic abuse or building confidence or empowering women equality, decision making, anything. And it was very subconscious. I didn't know that in every stage of my life, that has been like always dominant. And only now, when I turn my head around and I see my journey, I see that it has been a big part of my journey.
Right, it has.
And that has helped me, because that guided me. Where do I start? Let me contribute first. Let me give. Let me go where I feel fulfilled. Because we as women, it's not just about money. It's not just about success. It's not just about surviving. And we want significance.
You want purpose.
And yeah, when you work with purpose, then you feel more fulfilled.
Right.
Later on, then there was a job advertised in the charity where I was working, and I got the job as a trainer and outreach as well. There were 2 jobs advertised, one as an outreach and one as a trainer. So I got both, because I was allowed to work only 20 hours per week. So the outreach was 15 hours a week, and the training was 5 hours a week. So I was supposed to run 2 workshops a week, 2 hours and a half per week. It was perfect for me. And that opened my eyes.
That opened your eyes to like,
what are the women's needs? What are their problems? What are their challenges? Where are they coming from? How do they deal with it? And by helping them, I empowered myself.
100%. I love that you said that. It's all about contribution. It's not always about money. And when you contribute to somebody else to help them, maybe you dealt with something yourself that you can now share your story or empower them. You get fed so much. And even when I do my talks and I'm talking about different things with limiting beliefs or how to, get over that fear, I can never hear it enough because it fills my cup so much, even when I'm contributing as well.
It's natural.
It's very natural, yes. So then as your journey began or started and continued, I should say, this new chapter that you came to London, what was that pivotal moment that you said, I'm going to start something amazing like Global Women? What was that thing?
Honestly, it was not like one moment. There were lots of moments together. Everything happens for a reason.
Building blocks.
And there is no such thing, success overnight,
No.
Many people, when they started noticing Global Woman, it's there, and they started seeing me, they were kind of a bit surprised. Where is she? Who is she? How can she do that?
What is this?
And hello, I have been working underground for 30 years.
Yeah.
And you're seeing a little bit of me now here, a tiny bit of success.
Yes.
What about all of
I have a long journey that happened that built me to where I'm at now.
I didn't come from the sky or from the lake.
Right.
Coming step by step. So, it has been building up all these momentums, working with women, raising awareness against domestic abuse and seeing every single day what challenges they go through. I started realizing what is the biggest problem we need to solve for women. And in the same time, because I was working 20 hours a week in this charity, I had plenty of time to study, to go to events, to explore. What do I want to do with my life?
Okay.
So that was 2 years of my 2 years contract working. But in the same time, I was attending lots of events with personal development, education, about business, about branding, about marketing, about
expanding your knowledge.
Yeah, just one event to another one. And then in the same time, I feel like I need to close the gap. And in one side, I was seeing where the gap is, but in the other side, I was learning, how do you close the gap? So definitely, if you really want to speed up and close the gap and be in charge of that gap, you can't just work volunteering or
no, of course not. Right.
I felt like I want to start a business. I mean, I never had experience in a proper business, even though I started like a passion.
Of course.
When I was in Albania, I was like less than a year old.
But you're working for other people, and
then I got to know that business is all about identifying a problem to your audience. First find your audience who you want to help. Very easy for me, women. Identify what is their problem, and then find a solution, and then you have to go and sell it to them.
You have to go sell it to them, exactly.
4 steps, very simple steps. I said, oh, right, okay, definitely I know my audience, definitely I know what's the problem
I need to solve.
Now, how do I find a solution? I didn't know what's the solution, but I thought I'm going to start with these 2 steps. And because I don't know the solution, I'm not going to sell anything for now. So this is my point. Many people think that it has to start with a solution. And once they have solution, they go straight to the sales. First, you have to build a relationship.
100%.
And the relationship is not built straight like, I have a product, come and buy it.
No.
So what I did, which I didn't know that I was doing right, if there is something I've done right, the first 3-4 years in this country, I just built a huge, massive network. And I was contributing because I was not confident to sell anything.
Right.
I didn't know I had the balance. Even though I had 2 masters in psychology or counseling or psychotherapy or education or all kind of experience that I had before, I still felt not good enough. And when people would come to me and say, oh, well, can you give me a coach? I said, I'm not a coach. I don't know how does it work? So I would help them and say, oh my God, you're a coach. You're so good. I felt like I'm not good enough. But then as I went to all these events and I started realizing that I am good enough,
right?
And as I'm doing this contribution for women and I see the difference on them, I can see the results.
Like, wait, there's something here.
They empowered me to realize that I'm good enough and I can do this. So then what really helped me, it was a 6 weeks workshop. And in the week 6, I would divide women in 2 groups. Group number 1, because there are 6 stages of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Only in the stage 3, you identify that, in fact, it's not a misunderstanding. It's not a little issue. It's not because you did something wrong or he had a bad day or whatever. It's called abuse.
It's abuse.
So, and it's incredible that none of us realize, including me, I realized, oh my God, I have been abused. I didn't know I was abused. Many women, as we go through that journey, we realize that how stupid I was. We're just all the time justifying.
Right, making excuses. Oh, they're just having a bad day, or I went a little far.
Yeah, we all have been there. And it doesn't matter if you're smart or stupid or whatever.
No,
we all go through the same thing. So in the stage 3, at some point, we get to realize, and that also comes with discussions, awareness, your friend, and then you notice that this needs to change. But most of the women, they get stuck in the next 3 stages, and they are scared to move or leave the abusive relationship.
Right, they're scared of the change. Right.
But some women, they manage, the moment they realize, I'm sorry, this is not my problem, they manage to leave. And I wanted to know what makes a woman stay so long in an abusive relationship, and how does a woman get the courage to leave? What are the factors?
Right.
She gets the power to leave. So I divided all these groups, all these women into groups, and I would ask them the same questions and they would come with the same answers. The top 2 factors was a woman leaves an abusive relationship when she builds some confidence and has some savings. A woman gets stuck in that abusive relationship when she is in the coercive control, where her self-esteem is completely broken and ruined, and she's completely controlled financially. She can't go. Where can she go? Where to go? Of course, there are other factors, but these are 2.
That's a big one. Factors. Confidence and financial.
Yeah. So then I thought, that's the problem. I know the problem. So now I started going from one event to another, from one course to another, one training, business, because I wanted to start a business. How do I solve this problem? What do I do? So it took me 1 year and was a passion project rather than a business, even though I registered Global Woman in 2015. But only in 2016, it was a proper business when I started considering, like, it's a business. When I had a bank account. But at that time, I felt confident that I had found also the solution. Give women a microphone. Because I noticed, even when I was running the workshops, when I encouraged women to start talking, and I made it in a very different way. Because if you are advertising a workshop, say, I'm doing a workshop for domestic abuse, I guarantee you nobody will come.
No.
Even those who are really bad places, they would never come. But the way I was advertising the workshops was like confidence, motivation, mindset. I mean, of course, because I was
moving them towards what they want.
And they would come like slowly. And I would not enter that territory in the first 2 weeks. Like slowly, I would start opening up myself. I would notice who is the most courageous woman here who can speak. And then it takes one person to start crying. And the whole thing starts moving. And then I would divide them in groups. I would give them flip charts and say, group 1, come here, you're going to present. How do we build confidence? And I would let them do it. Oh my God, you could see the difference.
That's amazing.
1 to week 6.
To week 6.
Massive change. Massive confidence.
So you did a 6-week program?
Yeah. And it was incredible. And I could see, I didn't do anything. Only putting them to speak in front of other audience. And we used to fake like a little microphone.
That's amazing.
It was so.
I love that. I love that you say, give a woman a microphone.
Yeah. This is how it started. And I started doing exactly the same, but I turned it into a business. Then I didn't target women who have been abused. I targeted immigrant women because I knew immigrant women are always more vulnerable. They don't get support. They don't get attention. They don't get the job they want. Their family is sick. They need direction. They need guidance. They need all kind of help. And many times they don't know how to seek that help. So I started with migrant women. I did a big conference. The very first conference I did is after I left 2 years of contract working with domestic abuse. Immediately after I launched this project, it was a project, again, was nothing to do with business. I just was so passionate. I said, I'm going to do a conference. And I got 300 women in the room.
Wow.
Completely.
That was your first event.
I didn't have a team.
Oh my
I
goodness.
didn't have anybody. I just, on the way, because I start talking people, I'm doing a conference. A universe, you just talk
and it just shows up.
There were so many volunteers that we can help you. And then I did the whole conference with volunteers, and I borrowed £9,000 from a lady that I never met her again.
Oh my goodness.
And after the conference, I gave her the money back again. I transferred the money. She even didn't come to the conference because she said, I was busy. I'm sorry. I hope it went well. I mean, universe just brings you the people that
I love that you said that, because you were going around saying, I'm doing a conference.
Yeah. And I had no idea.
The power of your words is...
I was very confident. I could see already conference full of women before I even knew where it's going to happen.
And that was before you called it Global Women.
Before I called Global Women. Then I tried with migrant women because it's all about finding your tribe. I was not confident to get out of the immigrant community because first, my English was not good enough. I didn't feel I belonged yet, but I thought and also I saw it as a cause because the women that I was helping during domestic abuse, 90+% were immigrants.
I was going to say, I bet you a lot of those were immigrants.
Yeah. I was so passionate to do whatever it. And honestly, for me, it was like, it doesn't matter. Of course, I'm not going to be able to help all immigrant women of the world. But as Mother Teresa used to say, even if you start with one.
That's all that it takes. I love that. Wow. So empowering women was a big one.
Yeah.
That's where you started, and that's where and you've touched on a lot of things, and you're big with confidence, and you said that's what's lacking. The problem you're solving is women that don't feel confident, women that want money, that want to get to that next level financially, whether they work for themselves or work for a company, and you give them that. That must feel so rewarding.
I believe so. Even if they are not aware that they are getting it, because this is my profession as a psychologist, is to give them something and they still don't know they're getting it from me. As far as I see them, they are empowered. I don't need them to recognize me. I got it.
So you talked about having a vision, which I talked a lot about Make Things Happen, is that, we just need to decide up front that this is going to be successful. I'm really big on, don't worry about the lack of money, the lack of resources, just decide up front. It sounds like you were so confident, so passionate about what you wanted to do that the universe just brought you those things. And I think that language is so big. If you would have said, I'm never going to be able to figure this out, I'm never going to be able to put this conference together, but I want to, I don't believe you would have had it. Yeah, but you didn't have that conversation. You had quite the opposite. And you said, I knew I was going to see it. I saw it in my eyes that there was a room full of women. And that's big. And I just want you to talk to the audience about visualization. Where did that come from, that you just knew that this would be a certain way, that you said that we were going to have a conference? Now looking back, I'm sure you've seen it work in your life. When you said something, it just happened. It's not just about, I'm going to say something that I want, and then I'm going to go sit down and watch a movie. You have to be intentional. How are you intentional in what you do now?
Well, it's about faith. And most of the time, and all the time, faith is the evidence of things that you can't see. And most of the time, people are looking for that evidence. But where do you find that evidence? Faith is, you can't see it. You can't see it. You have it or you don't have it.
Right.
I had the faith. The faith helped me to pick myself up when I was lacking confidence. Because faith and confidence are two different things.
Very different.
So it was deep inside me. It was clear. I could see the picture But many times I was feeling like very insecure. I said, oh my God, I have put myself into this thing now, which I can see it's coming. But I'm feeling like, oh, I'm going to do all of that. Okay, we'll keep going. Let's see what happens. So then I build the confidence on the way, because you see like progress every single day. It's progressing. And also even during the summit, I said, look, it's not going to be perfect, never.
No.
And everywhere I go, of course, I can see lots of things that could be better. But do I kick myself and say I did a bad job? I mean, I'm the first person to realize that many things could be better.
Of course.
But as far as I feel that it was better than yesterday, it was better than last year, it was better than 2 years. And because I'm not able to do it great, this isn't going to stop me.
No.
And you know what? Even for this summit, I must say, this year, I had some massive challenges. Big.
Sure.
And I wake up in the morning, just less than 2 months ago, and I had a very horrible feeling. I said, oh my God, I'm feeling so scared about this summit. What if I screw? What if? I felt like really scared. And then I had to pick up myself. I said, you know what? Don't worry. Even if you fail, it's okay. And I visualized both, but then I canceled it.
Yes,
I visualized myself. What if I fail? I'm going to go in front of everybody. I'm going to say, you know what? I screwed up. I'm sorry. I'm a human being. I did it. But then I said, I'm going to cancel this. Now let's bring in a new scenario, a new thing. I'm going to stop that. Let's cancel it. Bring it back. Go. So it's like you attract what you think most of the time.
Most of the time, exactly.
So, and as human beings, it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking, because it's designed in that way. The brain, our brain is
we're so wired to look for what can go wrong.
But we have to take control before it's too late.
Exactly. I love that you said that. Take control before it's too late. And I want to just comment on something you said that is so important. She had this vision of, what if I go on stage? What if, blah, 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 fill in the blanks. And then she said, I canceled that out. And just by what you did with your hand, you canceled it out. You chose a new vision of Mirela being successful and it going the right way. Doesn't mean she won't be afraid, or that you wouldn't be afraid or nervous, but you didn't allow that to cripple you, because you will attract the things that you're focused on. And that's what my workshop and my obsession with Change the Channel that I created is exactly that tool, is how do you change the channel? What you were experiencing for a moment is fear. What if this goes wrong? And I always think about it like a remote control to your TV. You're on a bad channel, and that channel is creating anxiety. It's creating all these things that you don't want to see or focus on. And what she did by canceling out, she changed the channel to a channel that showed you something different, the opposite of that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's what it is. It's about changing the channel, because if you stay on that bad channel, I guarantee you increase your chances of it going bad.
Yeah.
Right? And you mentioned progression, and it doesn't mean that Mirela or myself or anybody that you might look up to, for those of you watching or listening, that it's not about waiting until everything's perfect, waiting until fear doesn't come on bring fear with you and do it anyways, because when you do it anyways, that's how you eliminate fear. And I'm not saying 100%, but how many times, I'm sure you've done things when you were sometimes nervous, not 100% nervous, or you would never be able to have the courage, but not waiting until you're comfortable, not waiting until you're 100% confident. Just take a leap of faith. And you mentioned faith so much. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it. But the way that I have practiced in all my things that I've gone through, and the toughness, the coaching transformations I've done with humans of all kinds of backgrounds, is get them out of the rut. If you're visualizing something negative, it's going to change a lot of things in your heartbeat, your how you feel. And so it's just changing the channel, allowing that to change, and knowing that it's about progress. How can I be better than I was yesterday? Even if it's just by 10%, 5%, take it. It's not going to be that golden ticket that you're after. I always tell my audience, like, focus on the journey. the journey you've built with Global Woman. I'm sure you can tell us the beginning stages looks different than now, and the next 10 years is going to look different than it does today. But the journey of what it's making you, how it's molding Mirela, how it's molding me, how it's molding you is the journey. Fall in love with the craziness, with the tears, the laughter, all the emotions. And so I'm really honored that you came here today, and it was such a pleasure to physically meet you finally, and to hear your story. And so with Global Women, give a woman a microphone to expand your voice. I've seen such amazing women that had never spoken before. I've been speaking for a long time. I still get nervous. I still have to do certain things to get my mind right. I still look at my videos and I'm like, I could have done this better. Why did I say, you know, we're such critics. But I love the progression. It's all about progress. And to see women come to your event that have never spoken and you give them a microphone and you empower them, what would be your message to somebody that wants to join Global Woman? I know that you're global. I mean, Global Woman, you have clubs and chapters all over the world. What is your message to somebody that wants to know more about Global Woman, maybe wants to attend the summit next year? You said it's in June. So I think you told me, because I wanted to make sure I put it on my calendar. Hopefully I can make it. But June 28th and 29th?
Yeah.
I memorized it. Okay, so where can people find you?
Well, we are everywhere, and this is my mantra. Get out of the house, get the microphone, get out of the house. We are everywhere. You just Google Global Woman Club, and we have a big platform. We have an app, we have an academy, we have the members portal, we have clubs around the world. We have a magazine, which is called Global Woman Magazine.
Global Woman Magazine, that's amazing.
Global Men Club, Global Men Magazine.
So I love that. Not just for women, men listening, watching. Please, we got a space for you too. And actually, I will mention that at your event, there was men there too. It wasn't just women. What would you tell somebody, a woman that or a man that is listening, and is just maybe not having the right confidence, maybe wants to do something bigger in their business. Maybe they feel lost like you did with Albania, like I want something more that this isn't giving me. What would that message be for them?
Well, first of all, we all have to make sure that we experience that breakthrough, because sometimes when we go through dark moments, because we get scared, we just stay there.
Yes.
And the breakthrough is not going to happen unless we go through it. And when we experience that, then we have to start moving, because nothing changes until something moves.
Yes.
And change is necessary. It's mandatory. You have to. We many times I speak with a friend. We talk together. I said, I just need to rest. I said, no. Otherwise you go home. Home means like you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't stay there, because otherwise you're dead. You're just breathing, but that's not life. So make sure you definitely get out of the comfort zone. It's very important that you are discomfort, you are uncomfortable all the time, and you start living with it. And because this is where the growth happens. And many times I ask women, oh, how did you find Global Woman? Because we get new people all the time.
Of course.
And they say, I've been following you for a long time. And I say, how long? And sometimes I say, 1 year, 2 years. There were quite a few women recently told me 6, 7 years. I said,
oh my gosh.
Why in earth you waited for 7 years? I said, because I didn't know it's for me. So what do you mean it's not for you? Because I see you ladies all glamorous, lipstick, colorful, confident. I didn't have that. And I said,
then this is for you.
That's why we come here to do it together.
Exactly.
So if you are feeling that way, absolutely, yeah, this is what exactly we do. But of course, we attract lots of confident women. And sometimes when confident women like you come, you are so important. You are because we need women who are confident, because in our club, we have different tiers of membership.
Of course.
And those women who have the confidence can pick another woman and say, I can coach you on this, I can train you on this, I can take you under my wings.
Yeah.
And that's why now we have Global Women, the Mentors Club, the Entrepreneurs Club, the Influencers Club, and we have just launched the Investors Club. Because many women, when they come to a certain level of their business, then they're ready to move to the next level.
They might need an investor.
They need funding.
Absolutely.
And they need to learn and educate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What does it take?
What does it take? a lot of great resources and so many great speakers and panelists, and even just the audience there. I mean, it's a place for you to come and network with other women, collaborate, learn from, coach some. I think we all can empower each other, and it's a beautiful space. I had a great time at the summit. I think I've gone to a lot of different women conferences. This one was a really great one for me to attend and experience.
And you added value for us. We have received great feedback, and we're very grateful.
Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's all for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe below, and we'll love to hear your comments. What did you learn about this episode? What are you now going to maybe do differently? Are you going to join Global Women next year? Are you going to empower somebody else that maybe needs confidence, that needs to hear this episode? And if you are affected or know somebody affected with domestic violence, please look at the phone number, the website below. I'd love to have you reach out if you are struggling. Love to hear your comments or feedback on maybe something that you've done to empower other women, or something that you struggled with that helped you to be more confident. What is that story you have of resilience? Thank you for tuning in, and get ready for the next episode.